Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. My name is Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And we're going to continue talking about AI and jobs. You may have heard about AI before, and a lot of people are afraid that AI is going to take over our society, and we're all going to lose our jobs. We won't be able to afford our houses. We'll all become homeless. We'll be begging for food, and it will just be a terrible situation in the world. But we're being optimistic here. We're saying that losing jobs to AI may actually be a win for society. It may actually be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, some of the robots that are taking over some of these jobs are doing things that are very dangerous. For example, they may be out in the fields spraying or weed killing, doing some weed killing instead of using chemical pesticides, which have been known to cause cancer, as we know. And then there are some e-commerce distribution centers. Of course, the biggest around the world is Amazon. And they've been using a lot of these robots just to move inventory, to move the stock. I've watched a couple of videos about that. It's pretty amazing how they're using AI to get things out to people, to distribute items. And they're also using AI to do some of the really repetitive, tedious jobs no one wants to do. But yeah, there are some dangers. We're going to continue talking about AI. But generally, our author believes that losing jobs to AI may be a win-win for society and something that's positive and not so negative.
Yeah, we're being optimistic here, so let's read through the entire contents of our lesson now one time. The idea of losing entire categories of jobs to automation is worrying. However, this isn't the first time in history such sweeping change has happened. We can look to the past for an example of machines replacing manpower. During the Industrial Revolution, many farming processes began to incorporate machines. Other technological breakthroughs, like the Internet, have yielded similar situations. Rather than diminishing job opportunities, automation has historically provided space for new types of jobs to be created. For example, in the foreseeable future, AI will require a human component to function at its best, so jobs in engineering and computing will be critically important. The fields of finance, medicine, customer service, and natural sciences are just a few that will experience human job growth as the use of AI expands. Other kinds of jobs that we haven't even conceived of yet may spring up. The possibilities are nearly endless. There are also certain types of jobs that cannot be done by computer. Skilled laborers such as plumbers, electricians, contractors, and window installers are forecast to be AI-proof in their trades. In addition, occupations that require creativity, empathy, strategic planning, and the generation of new concepts are ones that AI will not be capable of taking over. Psychiatrists, teachers, creative writers, managers, and physical therapists are among those whose jobs will always need a human touch. The age of AI is upon us, and the development of these smart technologies only looks to be speeding up as reasons to adopt automated workers become more compelling. Yet when it comes to finding a career and a purpose, we can remain optimistic that AI will be more of a help than a hindrance. We can see the advance of technology as a partner in creating a more efficient world where humans can do meaningful work.
So let's start with the first paragraph, guys. It says the idea of losing entire categories of jobs to automation is worrying. Yeah, if we're going to lose all of our driving jobs, for example, in America, we've got a lot of truck drivers who take inventory or stock from one side of the country to the other. They're crisscrossing the United States every day. That's a pretty important job. That's how we get a lot of our goods and materials that we need. Not all of it goes by train or by plane. We need those trucks. And the self-driving cars so far have not been very successful. I think I'd prefer to keep our truck drivers in those seats in those big cabs, those Mack trucks, instead of trying to go total automation.
Or Peterbilt. Those are big, giant trucks that cross the United States and Canada and other parts of the world. But that's just one example of losing jobs to AI. It may happen with trucks. I don't think it's ever going to happen with food delivery workers here in Taiwan. There's just no way to make motorcycles automatic. If you work for Food Panda or Uber or whatever, you're going to have a job for a long time. Don't worry about that. So again, we're saying that losing jobs to AI may be actually a win for society. And the idea of losing entire categories of jobs to automation is worrying. Yes, we're trying to be optimistic here, but we also want to be realistic because AI certainly is going to cause a lot of jobs to simply disappear. Certain jobs will just no longer be available, and you'll have to find something else to do.
We can look to the past for an example of machines replacing manpower. Tom talked about this earlier, as I did. We had the Industrial Revolution, where suddenly we had steam-powered machines that we'd never had before. We were so scared of the future and how things were changing that people actually went into some of these factories and destroyed these new steam-powered factory, engines and things that they were using. There was a big struggle. But finally, people realized, okay, we have these machines. The machinery is great, but we still need people to work in factories as well. So many farming processes, or some people say processes, they're both correct. These processes began to incorporate or include machines. It wasn't just people or just machines. It was a mixture of both.
Right, so in the past, people went out into the fields and planted by hand, or maybe they had oxen help them pull the plow or something like that. But then we had machines like a combine or a tractor or whatever, and you just needed one farmer going out in the field driving that tractor, and it can do the job. It could do the job of maybe 20 or 30 laborers.
And it didn't hurt his back as much as it had in the past. Remember, they used to have to lean over all day in the fields.
Exactly, but that, of course, probably gave a lot of doctors jobs to help those people out. But in any case here, that all has to do with manpower, manual labor, you could say, and those machines could replace the manpower. And during the Industrial Revolution, many farming processes began to incorporate machines. Other technological breakthroughs like the internet have yielded similar situations. So yes, that's a sweeping change in society, a big change in society. With the internet, because of the internet, lots of things have changed. Some jobs have been lost because of the internet, and some have been gained because of the internet. And indeed, this is similar to what happened during the Industrial Revolution. Things have changed big time because of these big changes.
That's right. With some of these new technological advances, it actually creates jobs as well. I'd forgotten about that. So rather than diminishing job opportunities, so diminishing means to decrease something, make it smaller. Rather than making job opportunities kind of disappear, automation has historically, back in history over time, has provided space for new types of jobs to be created. For example, here is one that's cited in the foreseeable future, what we can kind of predict in the future. AI will require a human component to function at its best. So jobs in engineering and computing will be critically important. So here we're using that word component. So it's just a part of the equation. You're going to need a human as well as AI for things to work at the top level. So jobs in engineering and computing will be critically important. If you're working in engineering, you're probably working out how to build things, how to put things together. Computing, of course, just means you have probably studied computer science and know how to program computers. So computing, again, just means you're using digital means to come up with answers or to come up with providing some sort of good or service. Here, critically, what does that mean, Tom?
Extremely important, basically. If something's critical, it is so important that if you don't have it, there's going to be something bad happen. It's going to be a disaster. So indeed, you need engineers and you need computer programs. Those jobs will be extremely critically important. Without them, society will crumble. And that brings us to the midpoint in today's lesson. Let's take a break now and listen to our very human Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是 Unit 15。Losing jobs to AI may be a win for society 第二天的课程。前一天的课程内容让我们对 AI 取代人力有进一步的了解。今天文章说明有一些工作是 AI 无法取代的，同学或许可以参考一下，作为将来求学准备就业的选择依据。好，我们现在一起来看学习重点。请看第一段第一句 The idea of losing entire categories of jobs to automation is worrying. 前一天的课程内容就是在讲机器会取代人类嘛，那所以这里我们才会说想到这个就是自动化会导致人类的工作消失，这个让人家非常的忧心。However, 但其实这样子的现象 This isn't the first time.In history, such sweeping change has happened. 请同学把 sweeping change 的 sweeping 画起来。这里是一个形容词，这不是第一次发生这样子的现象啊，历史上以前就发生过了。那这里的 sweeping 所指的就是彻底全面的。好，再来，请同学看到第四句，作者就要举例，其实以前工业革命发生之后，其实呢包括在农业社会，我们都可以看得到 many farming processes began to incorporate machines， 甚至于农耕其实呢也纳入了机器。好 ，incorporate 就是把机器呢加到他们平常的工作，他们工作当中其实就会运用机器了。再来，请同学呢看到第六个句子 ，rather than diminishing job opportunities, automation。好，请看到这个部分 ，rather than 我们常常看到它在句子的后面，不过其实也可以摆到前面。那它特别其实是在说明，并不是这样，而是怎么样。好，所以 rather than 是并没有怎么样，并非怎么样。也就是说，自动化呢，并没有让工作机会变少，而是在后面他所说的，创造了新类型的工作。提供了空间，就让人类社会呢有更多的空间可以创造出新类型的工作。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about losing jobs to AI, maybe a win for society, how it might be positive. And we started out by talking about this idea of losing entire categories of jobs to automation, that it's been worrying to people. They've been anxious about it. But this has happened in the past where we've had big changes in how we work and live. And we know that we've managed to continue going. You know, we haven't destroyed humanity. And so this isn't the first time such sweeping change. Sweeping here just means really affecting a wide range of things. It's not just limited to a small scope of things. It just affects a lot of things. It makes an important difference. We often say sweeping changes, sweeping reforms, things like that when we're talking about big, big changes. We mentioned again the Industrial Revolution, how many farming processes, they began to change when we started to use machines or use machinery out in the fields. And rather than diminish job opportunities, sometimes when these big changes happen, like automation, it's provided new types of jobs to emerge or to blossom or to be there for people. So don't think just because we're changing things that all jobs will be destroyed for people, that only robots will have some place to go work.
Right, and of course, AI will eliminate some of those tedious, repetitive jobs, but there are still going to be opportunities in engineering and computing and other fields like finance, medicine, and customer service and the natural sciences. Those are just a few that will experience human job growth as the use of AI expands. So we're talking about the human component to jobs. Yes, indeed, some jobs are better left to machines because they're kind of mindless tasks, especially in factories or farm fields or whatever. I'm not saying farmers are dumb, but I'm saying that some of the jobs that require manual labor don't require a lot of intelligence to do. And in this particular case, we're saying that there still will be job opportunities in finance. Okay, if you're lending or borrowing money and stuff like that, if you work in a bank, you'll still have a job. If you're a doctor, people will still get sick. We'll still have cancer around, so we'll need doctors and nurses. And customer service, of course, will always be important. Hey, there's something wrong with my computer. Can you help me fix it? And, of course, natural sciences. We're always learning new things about the natural world, astronomy, and oceanography and stuff like that. Those will experience human job growth as the use of AI expands. So I think those fields will increase in importance, and there may be more job opportunities in those fields because of AI, not in spite of it.
Yeah, I have an example. I know that a decade or so ago, banks were starting to use AI to answer customer service inquiries. But they got so many complaints from their banking customers that they had to return to using human beings to answer questions. I was one of those people going, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. Let me talk to a real person who doesn't keep, misunderstanding what I want. So there are some things they've tried to use AI with, and it hasn't been successful, and they've returned to using real human beings. So it says here other kinds of jobs that we haven't even conceived of yet. If you conceive of something, you're thinking something up, it's a new idea you haven't even thought of yet, may spring up. If something springs up, it just suddenly appears or it starts to exist. You didn't know that it was around a few years earlier. It just, suddenly springs up. I could say that after I moved to Taiwan, suddenly there were a lot of convenience stores and coffee shops and drink shops springing up all over.
Right, that means they grow just like plants grow in the spring. And for example, I could say that, let's turn back the clock to 1970. And if somebody said, I'm going to get a job as a web designer, nobody would have known what you were talking about.
True.
Because the internet did not exist then. Nobody knew what a web page was, let alone a web designer. So that's kind of what this is saying. We can't really imagine now what kind of jobs will spring up in the future. We'll probably be surprised at future job opportunities as AI becomes more common. Now, moving on now to the next paragraph, it says, there are also certain types of jobs that cannot be done by a computer.
Right.
Computers are great. We love them. We think they're the godsend of devices to our society, but still they can't do everything. We need skilled laborers like plumbers, electricians, and contractors, and window installers. Those such jobs are forecast to be AI-proof in their trades. A plumber, of course, is someone who works with pipes and brings water into your house. An electrician, of course, deals with the electricity in your house to make sure your lights can turn on and that you have enough electricity to run your computer or charge your devices. Contractors, of course, are people who are hired to do some sort of job, usually in construction. And so if you're a skilled carpenter, for example, you'll have plenty of jobs. We always need windows. Storms aren't going to go away, so we need some protection against typhoons. Yeah, all those jobs will be AI-proof.
Yeah, AI proof here means resistant to AI. So if you're in a building that's earthquake proof, it's resistant to being damaged by earthquakes. So in addition, occupations that require creativity, empathy, strategic planning, and the generation of new concepts, thinking of new ideas, or ones that AI will not be capable of taking over. So if you have empathy for someone or something, you understand and share the feelings of others. Robots don't. They have a hard time with that. Strategic planning just refers to plans that are done as part of a business or a political situation, that they're very useful or right for a particular purpose. So strategic planning is something that all businesses do. They plan out their year and how they're going to battle the competition and how they're going to keep their profits up high. They have to make some strategic plans. And we know that psychiatrists, people that are doctors of the mind, teachers, creative writers, managers, physical therapists who actually help people's bodies recover after an injury or surgery. These are people that have jobs that will always need a human touch.
Right, that's the special treatment that humans can give to something. A lot of times we say that, oh, this situation calls for a woman's touch. Only a woman could know how to handle this sort of situation. And we're talking about the human touch here. Yeah, machines can't do everything. Sometimes we need human beings to kind of take over and supervise everything. Well, here's the final paragraph. It says, the age of AI is upon us, which means it's right now happening, and it's only going to expand in the future. And the development of these smart technologies only looks to be speeding up as reasons to adopt automated workers become more compelling. So yes, indeed, people still work these labor jobs, but AI gets better all the time, so it speeds up the reasons to adopt automated workers. If something speeds up, that means it increases in speed, like often when you're driving on the road and the light is turning red up ahead or it's yellow, a lot of people speed up because who wants to stop at a red light? And that's no fun. You have to sit there and wait for the light to change. You're not supposed to do that, by the way. If it turns yellow, you should prepare to stop, but a lot of people speed up.
Yeah, the opposite of that would be, of course, to slow down. So you'll hear people say, hey, speed up, slow down, if they want to have the car go slower. So we might be looking for reasons to adopt automated workers. It says here that it's becoming more compelling to find those reasons. Compelling here means interesting, exciting, something that really holds your attention. So yeah, we're going to be looking at those reasons. Now here it says when it comes to finding a career and a purpose, we can remain optimistic. Remember, optimistic is very positive outlook, that AI will be more of a help than a hindrance. Hindrance is something that stops you or blocks you from doing something. When it comes to is a phrase we use when we want to talk about a specific topic. So you're identifying that specific topic. For example, when it comes to beef noodle soup, Taiwan has the world's best tasting beef noodle soup, in my opinion.
Exactly. If we talk about that, then you can give us an example here. So yeah, when it comes to finding a career and a purpose, we can remain optimistic that AI will be more of a help than a hindrance. A help means it benefits you, and a hindrance means it slows you down. It's an obstacle. It blocks you. And we can see the advance of technology as a partner in creating a more efficient world where humans can do meaningful work. So let's remain optimistic, everybody. AI is not going to take your job away. Well, it might actually, but it might offer you a more interesting job and a more fulfilling job, and you'll be happy that you are alive with all these computers around you. That brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Let's turn things over now to our Chinese teacher to give us the human touch.
那再来，请同学看到第9个句子 ，Are the kinds of jobs that we haven't even conceived of yet may spring up。意思就是说，前面讲到了 AI 可能会做我们现在已有的一些工作， 那也因为这些工作不再需要人做了，那就会创造出新的不同形态的新工作来。那有一些新的工作是现在想不到的，请特别注意的是 conceive 这边 we haven't even conceived of。 好，再来请同学看到第二段，第二段就告诉我们哪些工作电脑是无法取代的，包括什么呢？第二句这里 skilled laborers 就是有专业技能的 skilled laborers， 哪些算是有专业技能的劳工啊？ Plumbers and electricians， 我们中文呢通常就是一起说，就是水电工。好，再来请看到第三个句子，不是只有这些工作而已哦，不是只有 skilled laborers， 还有其他的。 In addition， 哪些工作呢？像譬如说需要创意、同理心、策略规划的工作。好，那请同学特别注意到的是，这个句子最后面是有讲到这些工作怎么样 are ones that AI will not be capable of taking over。 请同学特别把这个 take over 画起来，它所指的就是 AI 是无法接手这些工作的。为什么？因为 AI 机器人它是没有像人一样有心事作用的，它难以发挥同理心，所以这些工作如果需要同理心，它就无法接手。那再来第四个句子讲到还有一些是一定要有人互动的，那我们看像哪一些呢？ Psychiatrists, teachers, creative writers， 好，这些它都 need a human touch， 所以就请同学画起来，这些工作都是需要人味哦，没有人去做，感觉上就是不对劲。再来，请同学看到第三段，第三段的第一句 The age of AI is upon us。 哇哦，这句话请同学特别画起来。这一句话其实很常听见啊，什么什么时代来临了，对吧？ The age of AI is upon us， AI 的时代来了。好，接下来呢，请同学继续往下看，这个句子稍微复杂一点哦。他说 The development of these small technologies only looks to be speeding up as reasons to adopt automated workers become more compelling。 我们其实从 as 后面开始看什么样子的理由啊，就是我们可以看到有很多理由觉得说应该要运用自动化，运用自动化的这些理由越来越有说服力， reasons become more compelling。 请同学特别注意到 compelling 通常都是用来形容理由的，很有说服力。那因为这些理由很有说服力，所以呢 AI 的发展会更加速。 The development of these smart technologies only looks to be speeding up， 所以发展反而会更快。那因为理由很充分，所以呢发展就会更快了。好，接着请同学看到第二个句子 Yet when it comes to finding a career and a purpose， When it comes to 是一个很常见的说法，就是提到什么的时候，所以提到追求职涯和目标的时候 We can remain optimistic， 我们其实还是可以保持乐观。 AI will be more of a help than a hindrance。 请同学把 more of help 画起来， more of a help of加上名词，这一种抽象名词其实是形容词的作用，所以意思就是说 AI 其实会是助力而不是阻力， hindrance 其实是阻挡、阻碍的意思。好，以上就是我们针对 Unit 15 Day 2所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
So that's our career unit, guys. We hope you learned quite a bit about what the future might look like. Don't be too pessimistic. Be optimistic that things will be great for your future. We have great hopes ourselves. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.